We all had separate names.
Just stop. For the kids,
Doing
for
it
the
for
children.
kids. You know, it made me realize kind of what I'd been doing this whole time. Get your pop filter set up.
I'm so sorry.
How do you rectify the things that you want to be doing and the things that you have to be doing?
Talk about yourself, Gabe. Enjoy it. Stop looking at me.
Why do I love doing this? And so once I had those things...
Welcome
ready.
to episode 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just kidding, it's episode 6, right?
No, this is actually episode 7.
Oh my gosh, we did episode 6 already? Oh my gosh, this is episode
we did
7.
episode 6 was last week when we were talking about Ted Lasso and Stranger Things and our favorite TV shows.
Welcome to episode 7, everybody.
Woo! Episode 7, where I've got the blinds open in my room, so I've got, if you're watching the video version, I've got sun on my face.
Ooh, sun.
Hopefully it's not too distracting. I wanted to see the nice leafy green of the trees right outside my back window, because it's a pretty view. It's a very pretty view.
So while you talk about anything we talk about tonight, just picture Gabe looking at a beautiful view of trees. Yeah.
Greenery. It's inspiring. Welcome, everyone, officially to the Two Starving Artists podcast. My name is Gabe Chandler, and I'm joined this time by...
Brooke Boter.
Batar.
Yeah, especially on the Zoom names, it's Brooke Boter. Boter. Boter.
She likes to mix things up.
Yeah, she likes to mix things up. Ooh, that should be a song. She likes to mix things up. Or she likes to mix things up. Or, just one of those songs. It's like about a mysterious girl who likes to mix things up,
Yeah. The mystery is where it's at. That's where the magic happens for the song. We are sponsored now for I think this is the third week in a row. The third week of our summer sponsorship by Mainstay Fitness, who is our ongoing sponsor for this summer, as they are putting on a special discount code just for our Two Starving Artist listeners. I say they, it's Brooke, and it's awesome work that she's doing.
Yep, it's my new online fitness company, and
yeah.
we got fitness coaching, weekly check-ins, individualized programming, superhero programming, if you like, to keep things interesting and creative, if you're bored in your routine.
D&D character programming. She actually just finished up a workout plan based on my little rabbit person cleric character that I have, Faunus, who I love dearly. And so I'm eagerly looking forward to starting that next week when I get back from a little trip that I'm going on.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
And I'm super pumped. I'm actually gonna have to do like a call with you or something, a separate video call. Or hey, maybe we talk. Maybe our next episode is where we do a little bit of talking about preparing for roles on like a fitness side of things, so we can calculate my macros and all that good stuff.
Dave, every single episode it's like a thing where you just say what our next episode is going to be. But yeah, let's do it. I'm down. Let's go.
Yeah, maybe it's not necessarily the next episode, but we'll do it. It could be. You never know. You're on the Two Starving Artists podcast. But yes, we are sponsored by Mainstay Fitness, online nerdy fitness coaching company, mainstayfitness.com. She does online fitness coaching, makes superhero-themed and D&D programs, fitness classes, and helps people prepare to reach their goals. So she wrote out this little ad sponsor for us to do. Whether you're a beginner or just wanted to be your healthiest self, whether you need to gain muscle, lose fat mass, or an actor who needs to be ready for whatever a film may require, or a model who needs to be ready for a photo shoot, they can help with nationally certified plans and coaching.
That's right. Mainstay Fitness offers fun exercise that is science-based, y'all. No longer are we doing the boring pre-made programs or the fads and trends that lead to zero results, like diets and trends that are for the now and not for the long haul. So we offer superhero or D&D fitness-themed programs, like Gabe said, pre-made or custom-made. We assess your muscular imbalances. We can make your workouts fun, themed, or as traditional as you desire. So, take it away, Gabe.
For those who want an extra eye on their form, a friendly, encouraging, and motivating coach, or extra accountability to get moving, online one-on-one training is also available. The beauty of your story is that it's going to continue to evolve, and MainstayFitness.com is there to help.
Indeed. If you want creative, fun, science-based approach to exercise that will help you get results efficiently, then head on over to MainstayFitness.com.
And just by listening to this podcast, I totally dropped the lead there. That's my bad. And by listening to this podcast, you can get two Starving Artist podcast listeners and viewers right now. You get 15% off now through the end of summer 2022. Any purchases on MainstayFitness.com using the code 2StarvingArtists. All one word, all caps. 2 Starving Artists.
Indeed. 2 Starving Artists for 15% off any purchase on MainstayFitness.com.
Live longer. Feel better. Be happier. MainstayFitness.com.
Yeah, that was awesome. We'll hunker down. We'll get better and better. Or you do like the big cats do and just pre-record it and just make it every single... I kind of like doing it over and over again. Like live.
I know. It's more fun doing it live. We're doing it live.
Yeah.
And I think it's more enjoyable.
It's different every time, man.
Personable. Get your pop filter set up. Totally unprofessional here.
I'm sorry. I went to one of my fitness client. She got a new job and she's a bartender, and they did their new opening. So I went with my roommate, Joanna. So I just got back. I'm sorry.
We're sitting down to do a podcast. And she doesn't even have her pop filter.
Why is it rotating? Why is it doing this to me? It's not working. Oh my gosh.
This is why we do all of this in advance, before the recording starts. Because then we run into issues like this. Ladies and gentlemen, please take my humblest apologies for what you have just witnessed.
I'm so sorry. I meant to do this earlier. I'm so sorry. My apologies.
So you said you went to is it like a new bar concept? Tell us about that.
It is a new cuisine in Roswell, Georgia. And it's pretty cool. It's where you can... What did it say? Drinks, something, food, I guess, and dancing. I didn't see dancing, but they said it's coming. But it was the grand opening for just friends and family, and I was a friend. I just feel so special. Oh. But yeah, it's one of my clients. Special. Yeah, she's really cool to work with. So I was like, yeah, I'll go to your grand opening. Got a quick drink there, and then headed straight back, and barely made it back, and it was fun. But it's just it's fun anytime like a friend is doing something, or I just want to support them. So. Yeah. What you up to, Gabe? What you doing today?
Not a whole lot. Still in that transitionary period, because have I told our podcast viewers that I've got a new job yet?
No, you have not.
I can't. Well, surprise, surprise, surprise! Big announcement, big life announcement for moi on episode 7 of the 2 Starving Artists podcast.
He hasn't said it yet. Not even in this past minute.
I just got a new job. I've been...
Yay.
So I've previously been working for... Woo! I've previously been working for a company that does outbound sales. They're a company that gets hired by other companies to run sales pitches. We're not sponsored by Topo Chico yet. Hide it. Blur it out.
I didn't think you'd see that. Talk about yourself, Gabe. Enjoy it. Stop looking at me.
I am. Jeez. Well, no. It's like I'm talking to my friend right now, and so I'm gonna be looking.
I'm sorry. I got really interested. You can hear the water. Talk about yourself.
Oh man. So I used to work up until very recently. I used to work for a company that gets hired to do outbound sales by other corporations. So like when Microsoft or Google or something like that wants to run a sales campaign, but they don't want to hire 30 more people just for the one sales campaign, they would hire that company. And they would train full-time employees up to run the phones and send emails and LinkedIn messages, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was a pretty good gig for this little over a year that I've had it now.
It's what you needed when you needed it, right?
It was what I needed when I needed it. It's my first ever work from home job, which I really enjoyed. But I learned within the first few months that sales, outbound sales like that, just really isn't for me. I'm not a fan of the cold. I'm not a fan of the cold calls. Yeah, I have.
Oh yeah, you did. I'm just kidding. You told me. I knew that. I'm just kidding.
But no, cold calling people and trying to figure out if they have a need that my company's product can fill, then, that's, I don't know. I was never a huge fan of that. And like, I wanted something where I could be building more constant communication and contact and relationships with, specific people, rather than constantly reaching out to new people all the time until, the 10-day sales cycle for outreach had run its course. And then I'm putting those into the system for other people to try if I wasn't successful, or, and then, just bringing in new people. So I am about to start work as an account manager for a company that provides the staffing resources and setup and tear down labor for trade show booths. So companies like, let me actually pull up the company website because it's actually really, really cool.
Did you, I thought you had a relationship with this person.
So sort of. This kind of fell into my lap. It's gotta be a God thing, the way that this worked out. But so last year I was in a production of Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. It was my first time being back on stage, and especially really back on stage in a musical. Well, thank you. That we had, all of us in the cast had an absolute blast. It was so much fun.
You can see the chemistry on stage. You can see it.
No,
from the audience, you can see it.
And we, as a cast, especially the cast members, including myself, who played Joseph's brothers over the course of the production, we all, because the brothers had to spend so much time together in rehearsals, because essentially Joseph's brothers are almost a single character in and of themselves. We all had separate names, but like we were on stage and functioned as a unit while we were on stage. And so because we had so much time spent off by ourselves during rehearsals, we gelled and really became good friends by the end of the show. And so when the performances finally came, we were just having a blast. But some of the two of my brothers in the cast were a father and son, named Jimmy and Ian Thomas, and then Jimmy's wife Stacy was also conveniently played his wife in the show as well. And so
too convenient. It's a trap.
Their family, I became really good friends with their family, and so we kind of been playing phone tag over the past like 11 months or so, 10-11 months, trying to figure out when I could come over for dinner, just have just reconnect and meet up as friends, and so we finally, just a few weeks ago, figured out a time for me to come over. I brought a dessert and they grilled burgers, and we had a grand old time. It was so much fun. But then towards the end of the night, Miss Stacy was doing her mom thing by checking in with me about work and how my living situation was going.
How's it going, honey, you doing okay? How was your work? Do you like it?
So I told her that I was
Johansson and Don John.
Apparently that's her now. But threw me off.
Go ahead.
I go from there. But I told her I was looking for something new, and she said, well, what are you looking for? I said, account management, customer success, something where I can build relationships with people. And she said, it's funny you say that, because a good friend of mine just sent me yesterday a job listing for her company. They're looking for account managers there. I'll send you the link to it right now, and I will text her and let her know to be watching out for you. And right there in front of me, she texted her friend Olivia and sent me the link. And so then about a week later, I sent them I did some research on the company and about the position and such. I sent them my resume on a Wednesday night. Thursday morning, I got an email saying, hey, can we do a quick phone call? Thursday afternoon, we have the phone call. A little bit later Thursday afternoon, they called me back and said, hey, can you come in for an interview Friday morning? So I said, sure, why not? So I came in Friday morning. We had a great talk. It was a really good discussion. They gave me a little homework writing assignment to do. And so I sent that in sort of mid-afternoon once I got back home after running some errands and such. And then at 9:00 on Friday night, the general manager emailed me back and said, hey, you did a great job on the writing assignment. Can I call you tomorrow morning, Saturday morning, around 11? I said, sure. He said he wants to continue the conversation. So I'm thinking it's going to be another homework assignment or something like that. He calls me Saturday morning. We exchange some pleasantries, and then the next thing he says is, we want you to come work for us. And so it literally, technically from my hearing about it, it was 11 days, but the actual process between my application and getting hired was 4 days, which was absolutely crazy. And so they set up trade show booths for companies like GE, for Cook, for Reynolds and Reynolds.
Where do they set these up?
So these are at trade shows. These big these big conventions related to specific trades. So think Are
you going to conventions now?
I might be. I'm going to be going. I'll be going a couple of times a year, because they told me that I'll be traveling 2 to 3 times a year.
Okay, well, that's not too much. So that's
I've been assigned a company American Express card to cover all of my travel expenses. So, gonna be
wow, bro.
That's my first time having a company card for anything. So I'm gonna be absolutely terrified to use it and terrified to lose it.
Don't be. Come on, you'll be fine.
But yeah, no, so think about so there's that episode, and I think it's season 2 or 3 of The Office, when you're changing the lights in the background. It's very distracting.
It's making me look like a white blob, man. I don't know what else to do. This thing keeps saying, oh, you need to look like you're fluorescent. I don't know what to do. See, this is as, oh, I guess it can go lower. All right, fine. Oh, darn. I'll keep it there.
And the pop filter goes down again.
Okay. Yeah, we're good. Okay. Anyway, congrats on your new job. That's awesome. Congrats. You have a card. You're official now. You're one step closer to being CEO, like I know you wanted to do. So that's great.
Yeah, so basically what this will be doing, this is actually something that my brother was asking me about the other day. He was asking, and this is something that I think is important for not just actors who are in the process of looking around for those kind of pay the bills jobs that you get but actors who are still trying to find, maybe you've just moved to a city and you're still trying to find your foundation and build your foundation before you really start going for the acting gigs that you want. And my brother asked me, how do you rectify or like how do you really think through and rectify the difference between the things that you want to be doing and the things that you have to be doing, which the things that you have to be doing, you have to be paying the bills, you have to be keeping a roof over your head, you have to be keeping food in your mouth, or food in your belly, I should say. And then how do you really think through, jobs that aren't what you want to be doing, but how do you really think through looking through a job that you have to do, before you can get to the job that you want to do?
Yeah.
And so, it made me realize kind of what I'd been doing this whole time, which was I really had to take a look at what I want to be doing is obviously acting. That's what I want to do. That's my goal. That's my long-term goal for my career. But then so what I did was I kind of broke down, okay, well, what do I love about acting? It's not so much, like I want to be a voice actor. So it's not going to be so much, it's like, oh, I love being on stage, or I love being in front of the camera and dressing up in cool costumes and, performing with my fellow man in a performance. I like telling stories. I like building relationships with people. I love communicating those stories to people, and working as a team, using all of myself as a cog in this machine to really help the overall goal of the project, which in this case it's going to be a client who has hired our company to set up staff and then tear down a big display booth at a trade show.
Also, side note about actually I want to hear you finish your thought, but I have something else to say about some stuff that you already said. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, sure thing. But so I really had to take a look at what I loved about acting and then break it down into its component parts and find out, okay, why do I love this? Why do I love doing this? And so once I had those things broken down, I was able to say, okay, if I'm not acting right now, what are some other jobs or industries or things that I can be looking at to still be able to do those things, even if I'm not doing them in an acting context?
Yes, virtual high five. Yes,
and so
I love this.
I think this is all kind of the grand experiment going on right now.
The grand experiment. Ooh, that's a title right there.
The title of this episode is I'm going to write that down.
The grand experiment.
Episode 7.
The grand experiment is all about finding out the balance between what you want to do and what you have to do. The needs versus the wants.
That's what this episode is about.
Your day job.
That's what this episode's about now.
Yeah. Priorities. It's setting your priorities. That's what it is. I love that. I was actually thinking about that today as well. That's so weird. Sorry. Position. So I was thinking about that as well. I was thinking, like, why do I love acting? What is it about acting that I love? It's so complicated, but so simple at the same time. It's connecting with people. It's inspiring. It's motivating people. It's using a story to create a change in people. Yeah. Helping. Yeah. It's helping people. So yeah, go on. What?
Yeah. So that's.
Yeah. What else you have?
I mean, that's the big. I mean, that's most of it. But basically, it's as you. This isn't just actors where you can do this. Like you can literally do this with any industry. Any person can take this and look at, okay, what is it I want to be doing, and what is it that I have to be doing in the meantime
Yeah.
as I'm working to get to that place. Because the very, very few people are going to be able to make that immediate launch step from, from school or from their acting classes that they're taking, or from, walking the beat doing 20 auditions a day. You're not, almost no one, a minute fraction of people are going to be the ones who make the I almost said catastrophic. They're almost going to make the
catastrophic leap from dirt to sky.
The what's the word I'm looking for? They're gonna catapult, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even then, the ones I noticed that seemed to do that really didn't. They usually had a lot of work built into that, and you never know someone's whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of work that goes into sustaining a career in acting. There's so much work that you don't see, but yeah, I think that's great. There's also something to be said about the amount of work that goes into what entails like your day-to-day living versus getting to where you want to be. I think that's what you're already saying is like, I heard this at first from, because I would watch Shay Carl on YouTube. He's a vlogger, and back in 2010 or even earlier, anyway, he said, do what you have to do to get to where you want to be. And at the time, I mean, he did Maker Studio since then and sold it to Disney and all this stuff, but at the time he was just slogging marble tiles and stuff, and he was selling it. He was doing that, and he wanted to be a YouTuber. So I think the same applies to anyone in the art fields or anyone with anything they want to do that they're not currently doing. It's so applicable. You just have to focus on what you want and do what you have to do in the meantime to get to where you want to be. So what do you have to do to make ends meet now? And how can what you're doing now get you to where you want to be?
Yep, those are the steps that everyone has to take. And so where I kind of like what I've done for, this account management position is I've taken that sort of to the next level and said, okay, as I'm looking for things that I have to do, let me break down the thing that I want to do, find out why I want to do it, essentially, and then try to kind of find little facets of those things that I want to be doing in the things that I have to be doing.
Yeah, and it makes it that way.
Yeah, it makes it a lot less painful. It makes it has the ability to make it a lot less stressful, and it has the ability to make it more enjoyable as well.
Yeah, and one of the things I also think about that is you want to do a good job at the job you're at to prepare for whatever comes next, even the jobs you want. So if I hate to say it, but if you're working at like a Starbucks, for instance, and this is my life experience, I wasn't very good at it. I wasn't a very good barista. But what I realized is putting in the effort at the job you're at is preparation for any job that comes afterwards. You want to do the best job you can at any job you have, so that you're in a constant state of knowing you're doing the best you can, elevating your self-respect, elevating your confidence, and then getting into the habit of doing whatever you're doing to the best of your ability.
Exactly. And you're going to be and while honestly we should be doing that in every job that we have, unfortunately we're human beings, and so we don't always.
Yeah, we're flawed. For sure. Except for me. Just kidding.
For me too. I've had my fair share of jobs where I definitely know that I could have and should have worked harder in order to really prepare myself for something else that ended up coming down the way.
Yeah, and every single job, even if it doesn't seem like it, is preparation. It's so, Like I mean, oh man, there were so many times at Starbucks where I was people watching, and it prepared me for the next audition I had that went really, really well because I was
Mm-hmm.
people watching and I was like, oh, that works for that part. Anything can prepare you, you know?
Exactly. And so those um and as actors we can draw from anything to
Mm,
help us characterize and prepare for a role. Um
that's true.
like we can have, as long as you're careful and you're healthy about it, you can draw from actual memories to help you with certain roles.
You
But
can.
really, like, I can draw, like, if I need to prepare for a role that is, I don't know, maybe if I don't know, let's say I'm playing a nurse on a hospital drama or something like that. I have never once worked as a nurse or in a hospital. However, I have worked I have worked at a TV station, a TV news station. I was their senior video news editor. And so I can take the concept of um, deliverables by a certain deadline and the high stress environment requiring lots of communication between everyone involved, and I can apply that to this character who's doing something similar, um in a hospital setting. And so, the difference is your deliverable with a hard set deadline might be a person instead of
Yeah, someone's
instead of a
dying.
video.
Someone's dying right now and they're bleeding out. This is urgent.
just a
Yeah,
little
as
bit
long as it's
urgent.
not too emotional. Like I don't think I would use my dad's death as a way to prepare for a really emotional scene. What I would use instead, there's this great example. So Stanislavski wrote in, you know, the whatever book he did. He even said that his methods were not usable long term. So I always like to
Hmm.
say if it's not sustainable, it's not healthy for my fitness
Hmm.
business. It's the same with anything. If it's not sustainable, it's not healthy. He said, please don't follow my Stanislavski said, please don't follow my methods. They ended up not working. And what he meant by that, all his works were like him just experimenting and writing kind of like as freeform thought. But he ended up saying that, and many, many people have experimented with this, and all the actors I've talked to, um, who are very good and experienced and teachers, they say using memories for emotional scenes, things that are experienced, like what it's like to be in a hospital, you've been in one before, cool. Then you know what you're picturing. But as far as emotion, using one memory from your life, it doesn't last very long. And I'm sure we'll do a whole episode about this at one point, but it's true. Like if you're on a theater, in a theater show for months on months, the same memories aren't going to work. And eventually that emotion will run out, or you'll get a blockage, emotional blockage. So in that instance, you know, art, acting, it imitates life, and instead it's like putting yourself into the character's shoes, whatever works, but eventually memories will fade, so that's not a good sustainable thing to help you emotionally act. But you can definitely use real life experiences. You can draw from anything. You can definitely draw from experiences and knowing what something's like, and then you can put your shoes into the character's shoes, and as if it's real, right?
Put your shoes into the character's
Into the
shoes.
character's shoes.
Interesting.
I mean, actually,
Shoeception.
you know what? That's actually a great analogy for acting if you think about it, because all of your experiences, you're bringing all of yourself into the character's shoes. And that's what makes the character even more round and developed than the original writer had intended, because
Well,
you're
that's
bringing
actually
everything.
Well, that's why I like acting in general, is I've considered acting to be kind of the highest form of storytelling, because you're literally
Ooh.
using
Gerb.
all of yourself. Like
Yeah.
this is something that I figured out when I was on stage in college. When I'm on stage and I am quote, living truthfully in these imaginary circumstances,
That's
which
the
is a
quote I was
phrase that
looking
I
for earlier.
love, a phrase that I love.
Let's say it again for the whole class here, for the whole peoples.
living truthfully in imaginary circumstances. So when I am in the midst of, living as, like, when I'm portraying a character, when I'm on stage, when I'm in a scene, like when we were doing Diary of Anne Frank, clearly you and I were not actually trapped in a small secret apartment behind a downtown factory hiding from Nazi soldiers. We were not actually in that position.
That was a very interesting play to be in.
But in order for our characters to succeed, in order for the play to work, and in order for the story to succeed, we had to behave and we had to act as if we were while we were on stage and preparing for that. And
we
so
could talk for hours about that show. There are
honestly,
so many things we could talk about on this podcast. We've had years of history together. There's so much we could talk about. Yeah.
It's good stuff. But we're not going to talk about all of it right now.
Yeah, let's talk about 10 hours. Well, we can do a 10-hour podcast, right? 10, 20, 24, 25.
We'll do that for a charity live stream at some point. We'll have a marathon.
You're promising the audience things every single episode, Gabe.
I'm not saying we'll do that next. I'm just saying at some point. This is something I've seen other podcasts do, and I think
20 hours?
I don't know about 20 hours, but I know that
what?
No, there are some podcasts out there that have done like live streams where people, donate to charity through Twitch or whatever platform that they're using.
Yeah. Let's donate to charity. Let's go. Let's do it.
We're doing it for charity.
Come on.
Doing it for charity.
Give to the charity.
For the children. We're doing it for the kids.
For the kids. For the children. We got to do a charity now for children. What are you promising our viewers or listeners and viewers, Gabe? Promising them the world.
A really good opportunity to help kids.
The kids.
We have no idea when. Or how.
Oh my god.
Or anything like that, but I promise.
Help the kids.
We're gonna do it to help the kids.
The kids. The kids. Also, so speaking of kids, oh my god, I have so much I want to talk to you about, but yeah, speaking of kids, let's talk about something unrelated to kids. I actually was gonna go into something else, but I want to talk about the thing that you mentioned earlier that I didn't get to comment on. Okay, you and Joseph in the Technicolor Dreamcoat, you were the one who was noticeable on stage because you were so involved, and every single time you walked on stage, you were so enveloped in what you were doing that you were the one that the audience couldn't take their eyes off of. And I know you're going to say something so humble in response to that, so stop. Just stop and take the compliment, because that's what you need to do sometimes, Gabe. And I'm already going to defend you for yourself. So stop being so humble before you say anything humble. I'm going to stop you right there. We were commenting in the audience. I know we're your friends. I know we're your family, but I'm very objective. I'm very harsh. I really am. I'm very harsh when it comes to judging art, especially acting. You on stage commanded the attention, not even on purpose. It just happened because you were so in it, and you did great.
Thanks.
You're welcome. You're so welcome. It's true.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just having fun.
I'm really glad I got to see it. You were having fun, and everyone could tell. You made the show better because you were actually having fun up there. You were living. Because you were enjoying yourself.
Truthfully. In imaginary circumstances.
Exactly. Exactly. Good job. Now, speaking of kids...
Now we're actually on to the kids.
Yeah, because I don't think you're going to comment on that any further. Are you?
Nah, I'm good.
Okay. Well, speaking of kids, I'm performing a 3-page monologue tomorrow for over 50 people. at a charity event that's a Met Gala, and I'm actually pretty nervous about it because it's been so long since I've done a live performance of anything, and it's really cool because it's something I've been praying about. I was like, God, give me a live performance. I'm dying inside. Now I actually have one, and it's just 3 pages long, and it's only me, and it's difficult because the writer of it, it's a good writer, but not for like acting. So it's really hard to make it seem not slanted, you know what I mean. It's very
janky. I don't know,
maybe slanted. It just seems pre-written. It's almost like a TED talk.
Okay.
But it's about human trafficking, and it's this real story of this girl. She's telling her story about that experience. And so I have to make it seem emotional, but not too much, but it still happened to me. But I'm telling everyone, and I'm also talking up the non-charity. Oh my God. The nonprofit that this is for and about. So it's very difficult, but I think I've found a good rhythm with it. Did you get a chance to watch it, by the way? I don't know if you got...
I have not been able to watch the most recent version of it.
Yeah, I sent him I was like, please critique me, Gabe. But I've been... Oh my gosh, I think I have it down, but it's tomorrow, and I still was having issues with some parts of it. Just remembering. I think I'll be fine. It's always that game, but I've been loving working on it, man. I've been loving it. 'Cause it's like I love that challenge. And I've been literally just doing acting classes for the past 7 years before the pandemic. It was just acting. That's all I was doing. I was just doing full-time jobs just to get through it so I could go to acting class and I could audition. And I was living and breathing it as much as I possibly freaking could. And then pandemic, and then I stopped, and this is finally a chance. I feel like I know I should be doing this in auditions, but I don't know. There hasn't been really many good auditions that I've had to really apply this. It's like I love exactly everything you're talking about, and I'm going to be able to do that. I'm going to be able to look people in the eye as I'm talking and really judge where I'm at in terms of like, am I hitting? Am I affecting you? And then, I'm really trying to get this down to the point where I can mesh with people's levels of energy in the room, and getting to that level of memorization is like really difficult, but I'm excited. I'm really excited, and I hope I get to that level by tomorrow night. Oh my gosh, deja vu. That was weird. Over 50 people, man. 3 pages. It's a 7-minute It's over 7 minutes.
I think you're gonna kill it. I think you are absolutely positively gonna slay it, and I think you're gonna have it down.
Thanks. I hope so. But it's difficult. I've realized that I need to just relax. Part of me has all the the quirks and everything, and I get quirky, and that's fine. But for this, it's something I really need to sit in and just say. And it's funny because all the best parts, all the best acting I've ever done from reviews of people I really trust, it's always been when I was comfortable enough to just say the lines and be there. If I was really just there and I just said it, and I wasn't trying to manipulate. It's almost like the kissing when we were talking about. When we weren't trying, or I guess that was my story. I don't know if you agreed or not, but my story was when I wasn't trying, it was more sellable. It really sold. It was really believable. But when I was trying and I was like manipulating, people can see right through that. You just have to live in the moment, and you have to be truthful, and I just have to speak like I'm speaking to you now. And that's really difficult to do. It's really difficult to just be truthful in imaginary circumstances, right? But it's so beautiful, and I love that about acting. I love the authenticity. That's probably one of my favorite things in life is authenticity. I love it. Just being authentic with people, being real. That's what makes life worth living, to be honest. Like those moments when you're with friends and you're sitting around a campfire and you just share and open your hearts to each other, or you're like, you get through something with a friend and maybe you went on a hike and you're finally at the top and you have this moment of like emotional, like, victory that you got through something, and then you look over at each other and it's like, we did that together, and you just know it. So moments like that where you're just in it and you're experiencing something together, or there's a real moment between each other and you're just speaking. Those are really special moments that I don't forget,
Yeah. Now that the first one that comes to mind goes back to Diary of Anne Frank, that production we were in the second act of the show. There's this one moment when the cast, all the characters are going to bed. They're woken up in the middle of the night.
Oh my God, that was between you and me. Right? Yeah, because your character ate the food. Right?
I don't remember that part. I was thinking, we were having I think he did actually. And then, because it was that part, it was this, I was actually speaking of the moment right after that whole thing.
Gotcha.
Because it's this whole roller coaster. Whoop! As I hit my pop filter, it's this whole roller coaster of emotion because you're having this confrontation between everyone who's trapped inside the annex.
Yeah.
And everyone just kind of goes back to bed, and then it wasn't my character. I think it was the other, because there were two families and my character who were all trapped in this annex. It was the dad of the other family.
Yeah,
I think
that's what I originally thought, but right now I was like, maybe it was Gabe. Man, so there were certain rations for the audience. There were certain rations that they had left, and the mom that I played, Anne Frank's mother, she finds that the rations were taken, and of course her life story is so incredible. She ended up dying by giving her food rations in the concentration camp to her daughters. So she died of starvation because she gave all her rations to her daughters. So this parallel in the story, in the play, where she finds the food rations were eaten by the other family or whatever, she's livid. And it's funny that you talk about truthful circumstances, because I actually took someone in my life who's very close to me. I took the ways that she would react. So I usually take from real people, like the ways that they talk and actions they do for my characters. So I did a way that I knew she would react to that situation. And what moment are you thinking of?
I'm thinking of the moment that was right after that, because we have that massive confrontation, and then everyone just kind of starts going back to bed when we're interrupted by the doorbell of the annex ringing. And then I think the character's name was Meep, comes up and tells us about the Normandy invasions on D-Day. They tell us that, hey, the Allies have just invaded France.
Oh, and, yeah, that was an emotional roller coaster. Oh my God.
Right?
So because we wake up and it's like, you just ate all the rations, and she's like livid, and they have this huge like blowout. And my old college roommate, told me that she was scared of me after that scene. She's like, oh my gosh, you were so scary because you were so mad. Oh God, I love you, Jamie, if you're listening to this. Anyway, and then all of a sudden they get this huge news that World War II might be ending. The Allies saved the day and blah, blah, blah. So they went from this horrible moment, like, we're going to starve, to, oh my God, the stakes are so high in that show.
But the specific moment that I'm talking about, with just like where everyone is existing within the moment and sharing this truthful imaginary moment, is there's this you're good. There's actually a photo on Facebook.
Oh yeah.
Of of all of us, because at one point my character pulls out a map of Europe and then slaps it down, and we kind of map out the route that the Allies will have to take to get to where we are. And like there's just this picture of myself, the son of the other family, the mom of the other family, and Meep and Mr. Frank. And we're all gathered around this table, and just the looks of like sheer joy and relief and like and happiness that's just etched all over our faces. It's real. It's so real because we're all living truthfully in this imaginary circumstance. And you know, we've been able to, over the course of the rehearsals, really hammer down the stakes and the nature of this imaginary circumstance, so that when we prepare to walk on stage, that's something we'll have to talk about again at some point, is preparation.
We have 5 things we need to talk about now after this.
Exactly. That'll be our next acting method specific video.
I will post this picture from that we're talking about. I'll post it on our Instagram. So if you want to follow us on Instagram, you'll find that on our story, on our timeline.
Yeah. What's our Instagram handle there, Brooke?
2 Starving Artists. You know what? I don't have my phone with me.
2 Starving Artists Pod. One word, all lowercase.
2 Starving Artists Pod. So it's living truthfully. We're looking at that map. It's a beautiful moment. I'll post it on our Instagram.
Mm-hmm. And it's just, I don't know. It's cool to see this group of people pretending to be someone else, but what they're experiencing on stage is real.
Oh my God, that was the play. That was the play I was talking about, where I felt like maybe that was the moment for Anne Frank and her husband to finally reunite and have a good moment and kiss.
You mean for Anne Frank, for Mrs. Frank?
For Mrs. Frank, that was it. That was the play, and I don't even think I'm in that picture. I don't think you can see me, but I'll still post it.
I think you're just off to the left or something like that.
I'm probably turned. But yeah, I thought that would have been like a perfect moment. But my co-star did not agree. He was not feeling it.
And that's fine. That was his boundary.
Yeah.
And we respected that boundary.
Yeah, well, it's really complicated, but I guess in character he wasn't. It was more like we're happy this war is over, and not this is almost over. Let's reunite our marriage and like let's get remarried, like what is it called again?
Renew your vows. Renew the vows.
Yeah. But yeah, that play is really powerful, and I love doing it. It was great.
Yeah. So yeah, in your own grand experiment, break down what you are break down what you want to do into why you like it, and then take those pieces and apply them to what you have to do, and it'll be a better time.
Yeah, I like to think of it as priorities. So you just make a list of priorities, and then within that, you need to figure out how you're going to eat, how you're going to sleep, how you're going to survive. And assuming you already know your dreams, assuming you already know your goals, you look at that priority list and figure out how can you make ends meet and get where you want to be. Take it one day at a time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for listening into this. I liked this episode. This is a good episode.
I may have a drink in my system, though, so I'm just kidding.
Topo Chico mineral water. That's what you've got.
Yeah, a lot. I had like Perrier, and then I took a Topo Chico.
Perrier. Topo Chico.
Yeah, I have a lot of mineral water in me. But yeah, guys, this is so cool.
Yeah.
I loved what we talked about tonight, and Gabe, what are we going to talk about next episode?
Oh man, that's a good question. What are we going to talk about next episode?
I love doing this podcast with you, Gabe. I love doing this with you.
I love doing this with you too, friend.
This is so fun. Like every week, I look forward to it. I have a fun time every single episode.
I do too.
So fun. We're only on episode 7. Imagine the 93 we have left before episode 100.
Oh, wow. It's going to be a lot. We're going to have to start thinking. Should we start thinking now what we're going to do for episode 100?
Oh, I've already thought about it.
Okay.
But then I forgot. I thought about it today, and I can't remember what I thought of.
We'll have to have a production meeting about that another time. But anyway, thank you all so much for listening in.
Yeah,
we are
guys.
Sponsored once again by mainstayfitness.com. Remember, go there and use for any of your purchases for the rest of summer 2022, 2 Starving Artists, all caps, all one word, as your coupon code to check at checkout, just for our 2 Starving Artists podcast listeners to get 15% off your order. Thank you guys so much, and we will see you next time.
Next time. Thanks for listening, guys, and have a great week. Or a few seconds until the next episode plays if you're catching up. Okay, bye.
Bye.
It's too fun. It's too much fun.